You are about to discover the ultra-rare secret that most men will never know about attracting women. I assure you that by the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly how to talk to women, how to get inside their minds, and how to make them eagerly await the next time they see you or hear from you. This is you, and this is the girl you'll be talking to. What should you say to her? What should you talk about? And how can you make your conversation flow smoothly? The first mistake you can make when talking to a girl is overthinking the topic of conversation or how you're going to speak. Before we get into the details, I want you to first change your perspective on this. Change your internal mindset. When you're talking to a girl, remember that she's just a human being, nothing more. Don't place her on a pedestal just because she's attractive. I know this might sound superficial or like something you've heard before, but it's crucial that you internalize it. From now on, every time you talk to a beautiful girl, I want you to remember me and tell yourself, she's just a human being. The second thing you need to internalize is that you should see yourself as being in a higher position while she's in a lower one. Don't worry, I'll explain how you can do this later, but for now, just listen. When you're talking to a girl, her subconscious mind, the instinct that controls attraction and seeks the right partner, is evaluating you to determine if you're the right guy for her or not. If you've watched all the videos in this series on how to attract women, you'll know that women are emotional beings who are drawn to what they feel. But in today's episode, we're going to dive deeper into this topic. Let me explain what attraction truly is for a woman. The single most important and fundamental concept you must understand to succeed with women is attraction. Without it, nothing else matters. Understanding how attraction works is crucial. Without it, you will never succeed with women and dating. There are no exceptions to this rule. Unlike men, women often act based on how they feel, making decisions driven by emotions rather than logic. They see something, feel something, and respond to that feeling. Because their actions are emotion-based, they essentially cannot control who they are attracted to and who they aren't. Attraction is a subconscious response triggered by certain behaviors exhibited by men. Therefore, to create attraction, you need to incorporate these behaviors into your personality. Before we dive into specifics, let me clarify a few important facts. Women do not control who they are attracted to. Women do not control who they are not attracted to. This means that attraction happens on an unconscious level and is beyond a woman's control. Now, I want you to imagine this subconscious part of a woman's mind as a radar. When you start talking to her, it lights up and begins scanning you to determine whether you are suitable for her or not. This radar is separate from her conscious mind, meaning that if this radar finds you attractive, her conscious mind won't be able to override it. That's why so many women end up falling for the same type of bad guy who mistreats them and cheats on them. Her logical brain might tell her, "You've made this mistake before, you'll be mistreated and cheated on again." But because she is biologically programmed to think emotionally, her logic cannot override her subconscious attraction. Before we move on, I want you to understand this fundamental truth. Every woman, from the moment she is born, has a primary goal in life: to find the right man for her. This may not be the typical message you hear from society, but it is a biological fact. A woman could be a scientist or an astronaut at NASA, yet her ultimate instinct remains to find the right man. However, this man is not someone she logically chooses. Her internal radar seeks him out and selects him. So from now on, whenever you talk to a girl, remember that her radar is scanning you to determine if you are suitable for her. This radar looks for many qualities, but one of the most important is whether you appear to be better than her or if she is better than you. The way it determines this is by observing how you interact with her. whether you project confidence and superiority or if you place her above yourself. If you treat her in a way that suggests you see yourself as better than her, the radar will register that you are the superior choice, and that's when she will become attracted to you. I know this may sound confusing or even complicated, but trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand everything. You'll know exactly how to make any woman, no matter who she is, think about you all day long after your conversation, without even realizing why she's doing it. Now let's get into the specifics. What should you do? What should you say to make her subconscious radar perceive you as the superior choice? Let's start with something simple that many people overlook: body language. If you've ever researched body language, you've probably seen advice like, keep your head up, don't put your hands in your pockets, sit with a straight back. Forget all of that. It's nonsense and won't help you at all. Instead, I want you to focus on 3 key aspects of body language. A common mistake many men make is leaning toward the girl while talking. This often turns her off because it subconsciously signals neediness and over-interest. Instead, make it a habit to talk to her while leaning slightly away. This sends the message that you are in control and not overly invested. This is the first point. The second point is to almost start walking away when she says something you disapprove of. For example, if a girl says, "I'm not really interested," you could respond with, "I know, I'm probably too much for you to handle. You're too much of a nice girl anyway." Then, start to walk away as you say it. You'll likely see her either walking toward you or trying to stop you with a quick comment. Attractive women aren't used to guys walking away like this. They're usually accustomed to being chased. Therefore, walking away will demonstrate high value, which will automatically make her more attracted to you. The third and most important point about body language that I want you to be aware of throughout your life is this. I'll give you an example to help you understand. Imagine yourself sitting next to an important person, someone with high status. How would you sit? You probably wouldn't sit in a relaxed manner. You'd try to show respect, be mindful of your posture, and might even be a little nervous. Now, imagine sitting next to a close friend you've known for years, or a sibling. How would your body language change? You'd likely be much more relaxed, sitting however you want, stretching out, leaning back, and not worrying about impressing them. In any social interaction, the person with the higher perceived value is the one who sits comfortably and isn't concerned about how they are being perceived. This is the mindset I want you to adopt when talking to a woman. The first thing you should do is sit comfortably in a way that makes you feel at ease. Stop overthinking how she perceives you. If you want to put your hand in your pocket, do it. If you want to lean back, lean back. If you want to cross your legs, go ahead. The key is to be relaxed and comfortable. Women don't care about every little movement you make. What matters is whether you feel comfortable in your own skin. This is a mindset that extends beyond dating. It applies to all areas of life. Stop over-analyzing body language and trying to impress others. Instead, make peace with yourself, be at ease, and act naturally. The moment you start overthinking how you should sit or stand, you're already on the wrong path. Learn to be comfortable and own your presence. Now that we've covered body language, let's move on to conversation. How to communicate with her effectively. Here's a simple formula to remember when talking to any woman. 50% of the conversation should be about her thoughts, personality, and experiences. 30% should be about the environment around you or general topics. 20% should be about you. Now, let me explain why. Why focus 50% of the conversation on her and only 20% on yourself? In any conversation between two people, the person who talks the most about themselves is usually the one seeking approval. Think of a job interview. The interviewer doesn't talk much about themselves because they are in control. You, as the job applicant, are the one trying to prove yourself. The same principle applies to conversations with women. If you keep talking about yourself, you come across as someone seeking validation. Instead, shift the focus to her. So, how do you do that? I've already explained the listen like a therapist technique in a previous video, which you can check out later for more depth. But to summarize, ask her about her interests, dislikes, childhood, dreams, and future goals. Get her talking about what she enjoys doing in her free time. Ask about what she sees as strengths and weaknesses in herself. The goal is to make her feel heard and engaged. Now, 30% of the conversation should be about the environment or general topics. In this part of the conversation, I want you to remember one key rule. Don't overthink what you should say. Say whatever comes to mind, just like you would when chatting with a close friend. Don't filter yourself too much or worry about making the perfect impression. You can even say something silly. The important thing is to keep the conversation natural and effortless. The key thing is not to appear as if you're trying too hard to say something clever. Just keep talking naturally and don't force seriousness into the conversation. Imagine yourself chatting casually with an old friend, saying whatever comes to mind, even if it seems a bit silly. The goal is to avoid overthinking and to let the conversation flow effortlessly. By the way, if you've made it this far in the video, I have a special gift for you. In the description, you'll find a free ebook that reveals nearly forbidden psychological techniques that make attractive women irresistibly drawn to you, regardless of your age, appearance, or financial status. These insights will make them feel hooked on you like an addiction. Check out the link in the description. Now, back to our discussion. During this 30% of the conversation, just relax and enjoy the interaction. Say whatever comes to mind without trying too hard to impress. If you find yourself in a disagreement, don't get frustrated or feel the need to prove your point. Remember what I told you earlier. You don't need her approval. You don't have to agree with everything she says, but don't stress yourself trying to convince her of anything. Let's move on to the 20% of the conversation that should be about you. One golden rule: never try to impress her directly. Don't boast about your achievements or adventures. Instead, make fun of yourself a little when telling stories. If you share a personal experience, tell one that makes you look playful or slightly silly, rather than one that tries to showcase how great you are. This approach signals confidence. It shows that you don't seek validation or admiration. Another key element is maintaining a sense of mystery. Being mysterious doesn't mean you have to fake your personality, but it does mean you shouldn't reveal too much about yourself too soon. Many guys tend to overshare when asked simple questions, which unintentionally signals low value. For example, if she asks, "Where do you work?" Most guys respond with something like, "I work at ABC firm as a manager from 9 to 5. Instead, a more intriguing response would be, "Hold on there, speedy kitten. We just met and you're already interviewing me." This keeps her curious and engaged. Here are a few more examples. Her: "What are you doing Saturday night?" You: "Something exciting, but it's top secret. Sorry, I can't tell you." Her: "Have you ever been in a relationship?" You: "I don't know you that well yet. I don't discuss private stuff with strangers." Her: "So what's your name?" You: "Take a guess. I'll give you a candy if you get it right." Now that you understand this approach, there's still one challenge to prepare for: her tests. When talking to a woman, she will instinctively test you to see if you're the real deal or just pretending to impress her. These tests often make men panic, lose focus, or break character, which can make her doubt your authenticity. So how do you handle these tests? Don't worry, every problem has a solution. We'll dive deeper into this topic in upcoming episodes of our series. Stay tuned.